Okay, we're going to be solving one-step equations involving multiplication and division this first time. This is where you start transitioning from arithmetic thinking into algebra thinking in a big way. So let's pretend that, for an example here, let's pretend that we're at your house. This is your home right here. And you're going to be enjoying a fantastic Saturday at Mr. Falk's home, sharing algebra and also his wonderful jokes. Okay, so we start out here at the yellow, which is your house, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots to the east or to the right. Okay, so we went 7 spots east. Now we're going to go 1, 2, 3 spots to the south, and then 1 spot to the west, 1, 2 spots down or to the south, and finally 1, 2 spots to the right or to the east. And we're at Mr. Falk's house, and you get to hear a wonderful joke. You laugh a few times, and then after about the second or third one you say, man, I've got to go back home. So what you do is you get in your car or you walk and you go 1, 2 spots to the west, not to the east. You do just the opposite of what you did to get to Mr. Falk's house. You go 1, 2 spots to the north, and then you go 1 spot to the east, then you go 1, 2, 3 spots to the north, and finally you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots to the west. And you're back home, you're relieved, and you don't have to worry with Mr. Falk until the next block that you have with him at school. So now, let's see. What we did was we worked exactly backwards than what we started out with. And in algebra, that's what you're going to be doing all the time, is you're going to be working backwards. That is the big transition from arithmetic into algebra. Did you know that the FBI in the United States, they try to hire people that have had a lot of math courses? I know that's hard to believe, but the reason is because people that have worked math problems, a lot of them, are used to working backwards. And you know that a crime, when it's been committed, you have to work backwards in order to be able to solve it. So, you never know. Let's see now. Alright, so let's move on to operations and inverse operations. We have the 4 operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And the inverse operation is the opposite operation. So the opposite operation of addition is subtraction. The opposite operation of subtraction is addition. The opposite of multiplication is division. And the opposite of division is multiplication. And what we're going to be working with in this video is multiplication and division. So we've got a problem here, an equation, an algebraic equation that says 5x equals 10. What operation do you see here? What is this 5 doing to the x? Right, that is multiplication. So in order to solve it, or to get it to where it says x equals, that's what we call solving it. In order to get this 5 to go away, we have to do the inverse of multiplication. So we do division. So it means we're going to divide by 5 to get rid of this x. Now, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to both sides of the equation. So now to know which are the sides of the equation, let's draw a line down the middle here where the equal sign is. If we divide by 5 on this side, we've got to divide by 5 on this side as well. Draw a line to indicate your new step. The 5's cancel each other out, and you're left with x equals 2. Now, we want to check to make sure we've got the correct answer, so we go back to our original equation. It's 5x, but instead of x, we're going to put 2 equals 10. 5 times 2 is 10, and we've got a true statement, and that gives us confidence that we've solved our algebraic equation in the correct way. Okay, now we've got negative 3x equals 12. What operation do you see here? This one's a little bit different than the last one because it's got a negative 3. But it's just very important to remember that you're doing the inverse operation, not the inverse of the number, okay? And the operation we see is negative 3 times x. So the opposite or inverse operation of negative 3 times x would be dividing by negative 3. So we come up here and we put our division symbol, divided by negative 3. Our line here indicates that we are different sides of the equation. So we divide by negative 3 on this side. That means we have to divide by negative 3 on this side as well. So we draw our line indicating our new step. These cancel each other out. You're left with x equals, and 12 divided by negative 3 gives me negative 4. Now, let's check our answer. And by the way, we're not going to hold you accountable for checking your answer, except you're expected to have the correct answer. So if you don't check, you won't know that you've got the correct answer. But we got negative 3, and instead of instead of x, we put negative 4. And so negative 3 times negative 4 gives us 12 equals 12. And that means it's a true statement, and we've ensured that we've gotten the correct answer. Now, what I would like for you to do now is pause the recording and do these two equations right here, and then I'll come back with you and see how you did. Okay, now 7x negative 7n equals 294. What operation do you see? Yes, this is multiplication. So you're going to do the inverse operation, which means to divide by negative 7. Draw your line to indicate the sides of the equation. Divide by negative 7 on one side, you have to divide by negative 7 on the other side as well. Draw a line to indicate a new step. These two cancel each other out, and you're left with n equals, and 294 divided by 7 is 42. And we have one negative in the problem, so that means our answer is negative. Then we come down here and check. Negative 7 times negative 42 equals 294. Negative times negative gives us positive, and 7 times 42, believe me, it is 294. And guess what? We've ensured that we got the correct answer. Over here we've got 0.5 times r. The inverse of 0.5 times r will be dividing by 0.5 on both sides. Oh, don't forget to draw a line indicating the sides of the equation. This line indicates that we've got a new step. These cancel each other out, and you're left with r equals, and negative 8 divided by 0.05. Oh, excuse me, divided by 0.5. Let's get rid of that. Negative 8 divided by 0.5 gives us 16. And we have one negative in the problem, and that gives us a negative 16. Now let's check to make sure that we got the correct answer. So we go 0.5 times, and instead of r, we're going to put negative 16 equals negative 8. Half, that's what 0.5 is, half of 16 is 8. We have one negative sign, that makes it negative, equals negative 8. And we've ensured that we got the correct answer again. Yay for us. Alright, let's move on to y divided by 4 equals 8. What operation do we see? We see division, and the opposite of division is multiplication. So the inverse operation is multiplication. Let's draw a line indicating the sides of the equation. We're going to be multiplying to get rid of this 4. So let's multiply by 4 on both sides of the equation. The 4's cancel each other out, and we're left with y equals 32. Let's check our answer. Instead of y, we're going to put 32 over 4 equals 8. 32 divided by 4 is 8 equals 8, and we've once again ensured that we've got the correct answer. Alright, now here's 2 for you to try. Pause the recording, try these 2, and then I'll get back with you. Okay, z divided by 8 equals negative 3. We're dividing by 8. The opposite of dividing by 8 is multiplying by 8. Let's put our line indicating the sides of the equation. Multiply both sides by 8. Draw a line indicating a new step. The 8's cancel each other out, and you're left with z equals 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. Let's check our answer. Instead of z, we're going to put negative 24 over 8 equals negative 3. And negative 24 divided by 8 gives us negative 3 equals negative 3. Good answer. Alright, over here we've got t divided by 2. The inverse operation of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2 on both sides of the equation. There's our line indicating the side, middle, the equal sign. The other side, you multiply by 2 as well. These cancel each other out. Draw a line indicating a new step. We've got t equals, and 2 times 12.6 is 25.2. To check, you put 25.2 on top instead of the t. Divided by 2 equals 12.6. Now, so for saving time, I'm doing this. I know that 25.2 is divided by 2 is 12.6. You will need to work that out so that you can make sure divided by 2 equals 12.6. Oh, Mr. Falk messed up. Let's go back. Divided by 2. So that gives us 12.6 equals 12.6. I can do that in my head. You might not be able to, so you want to work that out so that you can ensure that you got the correct answer.